Welcome to Trump Junkies podcast. I am at Lazy Meatball. And then you have poor Miley Cyrus. Disney baby. Grew up in Hollywood. She's unfortunately lost to the world. Her recent pictures, she licks an abortion cake to celebrate killing babies. She's all for Planned Parenthood. She's all for raising money with the help of Marc Jacobs. They made like sweatshirts and all kinds of stuff to help raise money to fund abortions. If you're religious, if you're Republican, that probably angers you. It probably makes you feel sad. You could also call it inflammatory against people who are pro-life. Well, interestingly enough, Twitter banned the Unplanned movie account because it was pro-life and inflammatory. Do you remember that? They banned a pro-life movie because it was inflammatory. Yet you can have someone on Twitter licking a pro-abortion cake, advocating killing babies. Makes absolutely no sense at all. And the whole crux of the whole idea behind the cake, she says abortion is healthcare. I beg to differ. There's nothing healthy about it. And there's no reason. My whole stance is I shouldn't be paying for everybody else's abortions. It's not healthcare. It is not a necessity, and I shouldn't be paying for it, and neither should anybody else. It is simply not fair, and the fact that they target minority communities should be a red flag to pretty much everybody. The 80% of the clinics currently in operation are in majority communities. So take that in for a second. So who is Miley Cyrus actually advocating for? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or as I like to call her because she hates it, Cortez. She wants to close Rikers Island, which is a prison. She wants to close it and build some solar farms. Okay, the basic idea behind this is pretty good. It's pretty solid. I'm all for solar. But I don't see why you gotta close down a prison to do it. I just don't get it. Basically, using 25% of the island will provide enough power so you can shut down all the other operating power plants in the state of New York. Sounds like a great idea, but why are you closing a prison? Or, let all those prisoners go. She hasn't really addressed this in her speech about it. This is a little thing she said just on a sidewalk somewhere randomly.
Forward today is to make sure that whenever we come out, whenever we activate, it's not always in resistance. It's not always to protest the things that we want or prevent, the expansion of a world that is unjust. But we also come together to put together a vision of the world that we want to build for ourselves. And that is what today is all about. Because when we come together and we decide that we're going to shut down Rikers and we're going to turn it not into a playground for the real estate lobby and not into a playground for the rich, we're going to put it and we're going to transform it into a public good for all people. That is what this is about. We have professors in there. There'll be live streams. You can catch it. But what we've seen is that Professor Bratsby's of CUNY commissioned a study, and she conducted a study. She saw that if you just put 25% of Rikers, just 25% of Rikers Island, and cover it in solar panels, we can close every toxic power plant in New York City that was built in the last 2 decades.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop that there. So, okay, put some solar panels up. Why don't you just start an initiative for New Yorkers that gives money and tax breaks to businesses and homeowners who utilize solar power? Put solar on top of all the buildings in New York and you'll get a bunch of power. What's this need to close down an entire prison? Like, where exactly will she have the prisoners go? I just don't get it. It's not really well thought out. Of course, her vision is, of course, one-sided and solely propelled by this whole climate change thing she's going after. She wants to build solar farms to fight climate change, not to provide people cheaper electricity, not to make their bills go down, none of that. It's to fight climate change. So again, she makes it sound like she's working for other people, but she's just pushing her whole new Green Deal thing she's just wrapping it up in a different package, basically. Let's talk about more winning. Trump hits a home run with Mexico. He sure played hardball, and it worked. It worked. He threatened them with sanctions, tariffs, and they didn't like the sound of that, so they came up with an agreement, a written agreement, which means, it's not just like a handshake and yeah, we'll do better. It's a written agreement with Mexico to help deal with illegal immigration coming from Mexico into the United States. They're going to deploy its National Guard throughout Mexico, particularly at the border, increase actions to dismantle human trafficking operations to smuggle individuals across the border, and take extra steps to coordinate with the American government and share information and better protect and secure our common border. That's from the U.S. State Department. It's a statement on this war on immigration, illegal immigration. Because that's what it is. We're at war. We are being invaded daily. The House passes this bill to help dreamers and ignores the rest of America again, just like they always do. This recent tweet from Nancy Pelosi. America's dreamers represent the constant reinvigoration of our country. Today, the House will pass the American Dream and Promise Act, an historic step for immigrants and communities across America. Hashtag protect the dream. Okay, basically that would protect, the bill would protect migrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children from deportation. It would grant legal status to more than 2 million people currently living in the United States. And it will cost more than $30 billion over the next 10 years to do that. Yet they can't afford 5 or 6 for the wall. Do they even know who they're working for these days? Nothing that this House has done is helping actual legal American citizens. Kate Steinle had a dream. Molly Tibbetts had a dream. They're doing nothing to prevent the destruction of American dreams. The Democrats don't want the wall. They want open borders. They want willy-nilly law enforcement. All I want are the laws followed. How hard is it? You come here legally? Fine, stay. I don't care where you're from. You come here legally, jump through all the hoops that everybody else has to, and you can stay. You become American. That's how you become American. You come here legally. Trump's going to veto it, of course. Recall, in his past proposals for the immigration reform, included DACA, included the Dreamer Act people, and the Democrats weren't having it because they don't want anything to do with the wall. If they cared anything about DACA, then they would have included the wall, because any immigration reform that they try to pass that doesn't include the wall will be vetoed. They've been told this. What they've done is a waste of time. It's grandstanding. It's not working. They literally are wasting our time and money. She's ignoring the will of people. Let's go about that. Let's talk about that for a second, ignoring the will of the people. Nancy Pelosi says that she doesn't want to see Trump impeached. She wants to see him in prison. Okay. Just a couple months ago, Nancy said that they weren't going to go for the impeachment thing. It was a waste of time. And then she said, oh, I want him impeached a couple weeks later. And now she doesn't want him just impeached. She wants to see him in prison. She wants to see him defeated at the ballot box and then prosecuted for his alleged crimes. That's from Politico. But the Mueller report showed that he clearly did not commit any crimes. No matter how hard Mueller and his 27 lawyers tried. Absolutely ridiculous. So Nancy basically wants to remove a duly elected president, again ignoring the will of the people. Don't forget here as well, Nancy Pelosi, she's next in line for presidency. If they were to get rid of Trump and Pence somehow, she's next in line. Think about that for a second. That's like a conflict of interest, don't you think? Someone who would directly benefit from the removal of the president and his vice president, because you know they would go right after Pence after this was over, right? They're just trying to get Pelosi to be president. President Pelosi. Pelosi Grossi. No, thank you. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Lazy Meatball, at Smalltown Andrew. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube, magAMedia.org. Wake up to the truth. Be sure to check out our merchandise. You can find it online, magAMedia.org, under the merch tab. We have some really cool stuff from Teespring, a lot of Trump tweets, the game over, no collusion, veto, all kinds of great stuff. You know, support our cause, help us get to more rallies, and get something really cool for yourself. Be sure to check out the S2 Project at our website, magAMedia.org. Follow them on Twitter at S2Command. Give them a phone call at 1-877-783-7778. The S2 Project, headquarters for all Americans, because liberty must win. Check them out and join the team.